Sometimes when you shoot too early, you're not quite ready, but you know it's going to be hot and you need to get this out of the way. Your brain isn't quite working. And I'm sitting here so proud of myself. I said the things I wanted to say. I hit all my points. And I went to hit my remote to turn it off. And I didn't have it turned on. Yay! Welcome to today's video and welcome to another episode of Sunscreen Saturday. Today will be my final installment in the Tinted Mineral Sunscreens. However, I do have a couple of more minerals. I bought another one this weekend and I have another one that I forgot about that I was mixing with Josie Marin, and I forgot about it because I don't like it very much, but I think I'm going to do 2 more minerals before we go into the Asian things, which are really the ones that are close to my heart. But today we're going to do the one that started it all. This is the Cereve Hydrating SPF 50 Mineral Sunscreen Tinted. This is the one I thought I got at Target. And, oh, it's SPF 30. Oops. Look, my eyesight's not that great, and the packaging looks pretty much exactly the same. I can see why I forgot. And I also wasn't looking for it. I happened to be at Target right after I had seen this video, and I thought, oh, this is the sunscreen that Angie was talking about. Let me pick it up. It's not like I wrote it down and said, I'm going to go pick this up. So I got the wrong one initially. This is the right one. And this is the one a lot of people saying it's their holy grail. So I'm going to take it for a spin. 1/4 teaspoon. Now this is a teeny bit kind of moussey. So it looks like it's overflowing, but I'm just going to tap it on the table here. Because as you can see, there's space. And there we go. This is what it looks like on the hand. And let's get going. Now, note the color when I'm putting it on. This is lighter than my skin. I've tried this before. In fact, I tried this many times before, but when I shot it the other day, I didn't press the go button. And I didn't realize it until I went to go stop it. And when I stopped it, the light went on. I'm like, oh, nice. So I already applied this. And I just want to show you what the application is like. And then in the video I did the other day, I used the Dior. And today I'm going to use a different foundation. So you can get an idea of how it plays with other foundations. This, even though it looks a little moussey in the teaspoon and in the hand, moussey would be the right word. So it's not goopy, it's not like Elmer's glue, it's not thick. It reminds me of a couple of products I've tried before, one I think by Ren and one I think by Peter Thomas Roth, where they're moisturizers, and as you put them on the face, it feels like water is bursting onto your face, and this has that feeling. Not exactly like those, but very similar. So it's easy to move around the face, and it does not feel drying, it doesn't feel sticky, and if it stopped changing colors right here, I'd be happy. Spoiler alert, it won't. You can always see on my neck how it's getting a little orangey. Now, you might also be able to see, I am really not sure if you can, my face is super shiny. Just gonna move around here. This is a different kind of shine. Like, I have other products that make my face feel shiny, but there's an emollience to those. This doesn't even feel incredibly emollient. There's a little emollience here, but it's mostly watery. Thus the word hydrating, I guess. But to me, it looks, I have one sunscreen that looks this wet on my face, and I don't wear it that much because it looks so wet on my face. And this looks like it has splashed my face with water. And spoiler alert, it doesn't change. I'm feeling it kind of start to dry down now. And as this is drying down, it feels a little bit tightening. So I'm going to let this set up for a solid 20 minutes. This is not like the Michelle or Michelle where you can feel that it's setting up in about 5 minutes and you can go ahead with your makeup. No, if you're in a hurry, this is not the way to go. Unless this color works for you, it is evening out the skin tone a little bit, but it's going to get a little orangey on me. It's been my experience in a couple of times that I've already used this. So I'll be back in 20 minutes. We'll see what it's doing, and then we'll put on some foundation. I don't remember what time I left. It's 20 to 30 minutes later, and this is as set as it's going to be. Now, I'm going to show you. I can see this in the other room. Right here. Do you see how light the neck is? And this color? This is not the color I initially put on my face. There's no doubt in my mind it has oxidized. Now my face is of course darker than this. This is the lightest part. Well, actually this is the lightest part. But it has oxidized. It is, in some lights, it's downright orange. In here, looking on my monitor, it doesn't look all that orange, but trust me, it's kind of orange. It's not something I would feel comfortable putting on and then running down to the store to pick up my half and half. If you have at least a medium skin tone, maybe, depending on your undertone, maybe you could. And I have to say I've used this many times, because I've shot this many times, and it feels like the consistency has changed. So I think this is a bottle that needs to get a vigorous shake when you first get it. Because if you don't give it a shake when you first get it, the heavier stuff is at the bottom, the lighter stuff is at the top, and when you squeeze it, the lighter stuff comes out, and you will never have the correct, as the manufacturer intended it to be, mix on your face. Because this doesn't look, I don't know, quite as shiny as it has before. But don't get me wrong, it is shiny all over. In fact, when I looked at one of the videos I did, I thought, oh my God, I'm sweating. And as I'm listening to what I'm saying, it's like, no, I'm not sweating. That's what this looks like. So, I'm going to go in with a Reboot and finger application. It does feel set, even though it's shiny. And I will say it doesn't feel drying. The tightening that I felt earlier, I think was just the sunscreen drying, but not drying my face. So that's good. What isn't good is it's only an SPF 30. And in the summertime, when the days are longer, I need more than that. It doesn't do well when you're sweating. So if you're going to be out in the garden or doing something outside, some work outside, this is pretty much going to melt. Now, the finish of the sunscreen has remained. It's still that slightly emollient, slightly hydrating, watery feeling on my fingers and on my face. So the finish that I'm getting from the Reboot is not the finish of the Reboot, it's the finish of the sunscreen. So from here, I'm going to cut away to the application I did the other day with the Dior, and we'll see how that works, and then we'll come back and wrap it all up. All right, I'm back. No changes going on here. It still is very, very wet look on the face and the neck, and this will transfer like nobody's business. So beware of that. I'm not going to put this on my chest because I know if I change shirts, this will be down the center of this shirt. And I'm going to go ahead with the Dior Face and Body, which I just purchased recently. Such a great foundation. And also really nice match for me. I'm in 2N. Also new, this Kat Von D powder brush, which I saw Hindash use as a foundation brush. And yeah, works fabulous. It just makes you feel like you're a painter, you know? This foundation does stink though, like alcohol. Okay, so I had done this yesterday. Same foundation, same application with a different sunscreen. And I was not getting the brush marks that I'm getting now. However, because this sunscreen is so wet, I have a feeling the brush marks will self-level. Don't feel like the foundation I feel like the foundation's just kind of blending in with the sunscreen, as instead of the foundation being on top of it. And that's because the sunscreen has such a wet feeling. I feel like I'm just really moving the sunscreen around more than anything. This sunscreen might need a little bit longer to set up. I feel like on this side it's a little bit better. I'm going to do a little more, but I'm not feeling great about this. And I kind of feel like my brush has gotten really heavy. Like maybe all my sunscreen is now in my brush. Okay, I'm going to stop there. This brush is incredibly heavy, and I do think the sunscreen didn't really adhere to the skin, so now it's on the brush, and the makeup isn't on top of the sunscreen, it's mixed in with it. And while it was streaky, while I was putting it on, because it's in such a liquidy form, it kind of self-leveled, so that's not a problem. But this I definitely need to try this again tomorrow. Give this a little more time to set up and use a different foundation, because so far this is not acceptable. This is all over the brush. Interesting. And you know, usually I use my hands, so I wouldn't have noticed that. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll start at the beginning. Alright, I am back. So you have seen how it has applied. Let me tell you about my application today. You saw me put it on without a problem, but I wanted to get rid of some of that shine. So I took my regular brush and I went into the By Terry pink, and you need to see what this brush looks like. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. There we go. That, my friends, I don't know if you can see, this is sticky and goopy and filthy. It's picking up the sunscreen. So two problems. One, I'm going to have to wash this. And I also wonder, have I taken off any of my sunscreen? So here are my conclusions. One, the color is a little too dark for me. It's a little orange. Two, the two foundations I put on work okay with it, but I cannot help that impression that I'm getting is that I am mixing them together on my face. Even though I allowed a good 30 minutes for this to set up, I don't feel like it's really set down. Three, it's not drying. As it dries down, you feel a little tightening, but that's just the drying down. It feels a little bit emollient, and it does feel hydrating, so that's good. But I don't feel comfortable in this. It feels, I don't know how to say it really. It feels a little greasy. And I use that word, you know, some people use greasy for everything that they just don't like. I'm not that person. I try to be very careful with the word greasy. It doesn't feel heavy. It's weird. It feels light and moisturizing, and yet I feel it on my skin. And it's just, I'm aware of it, and I'm not comfortable with it. However, I think this would be fantastic after microneedling or after laser, after anything where your skin has been compromised and you need something that is hydrating and moisturizing and comforting. I think this will be a great tool in your arsenal or in your toolkit for that. On the daily, I'm not comfortable with this. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. The winner for me is the Mineral. It dries down to almost a dry finish. Not quite, maybe a skin-like finish. It's weightless. I don't feel its presence on my skin. It does darken up, but I feel like it gives me a little bit of a tan, not a little bit of orangeness. I can work with any foundation with it. I just really, really like the Mineral. It's more expensive than this one, but I like it better. And it's less expensive than the Elta and the Paula's Choice, so that's a good thing. This one I will keep. I will keep and I'll use it after microneedling when I really need something gentle on my skin that is moisturizing, because the Mineral is not offering moisturization. And that, my friends, is going to wrap it up for Tinted Mineral Sunscreens. This was the Cereve 30, and that's another thing. 30 doesn't excite me. So if you use this after microneedling, it's not like you have permission to go outside and work in the garden. You don't. This is what you put on just for hanging out in the office, if you have one, or at home, whatever. It's not something you're going to put on and go for a bike ride, even if you're wearing a hat, because sun reflects off the ground and goes under a hat too. This is in the house kind of stuff, or in the winter fall kind of stuff. But I think it has a useful purpose. But for me, the Mineral is the winner of this category, and I'm so glad that I've discovered it, because I've never really been happy about a mineral, let alone a tinted mineral. So check. I'm really glad I did this series. So now I might do a couple more minerals. I bought one this weekend and I had one I forgot about. Or I might go on to some Asian sunscreens because I really want to go to something I like. I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll go back to minerals for these other two. So thank you for spending a couple of minutes with me. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health and a big kiss. Mwah.